So what advice would you say to young people? Obviously now it's getting harder and harder for people to get. It's mad. So it's getting harder for people to get into property ladder now, and they have all of these schemes. Like, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to buy a house now or thinking about it?
Firstly, I know too much about it, Share. By no way are we financial advisors, so disclaimers before you listen to this, just obviously do your own research. But I would just say, definitely, like, the schemes out there are good, but I would just say make sure you do your research on the schemes, because the schemes are good and they definitely help you get on the ladder, and they're good ways. But some of the exit clauses, you know, selling stuff on, buying back more percentages of stuff you do, etc. Some of those, they have fine prints or can be a bit techie, etc. So you just got to make sure you have like a plan going forward, right? So, you know, you might buy a 1-bedroom flat, whatever, and if you want to move it on in a year or two, you might find it difficult because of you've bought a small percentage or, you know, some other clauses. So I'm just saying, make sure that you kind of understand and have an exit plan available for that. But I definitely would just advise anyone watching this that, you know, if you have spare cash, I know it sounds dumb that everyone just has cash later. No, but work towards something, right? Put money aside, save towards it, have a goal, because at the end of the day, and we've had this conversation many times before, it's about legacy. And property is the easiest way to create a legacy and pass something down generation to generation, right?
100%.
Without getting too political and too whatever else, you know. There's a lot of people in this country that are rich, born rich, just because of property, right? So you've then got to ask yourself, would you not want your kids or your grandkids to have that kind of saving foot up, right? You look at it when our parents were here, you know, first of all, my mom was a first generation in this country, you know, probably in the 60s, 50s, 60s. And she was buying, or you can buy a yard then for maybe 10 grand.
Yeah, change.
Mad. Yeah. You got to look at that now, how the percentage-wise, what yards are going. That same yard now could be worth $1 million. You got, obviously, there's only some, like, there's a limit on how much property you can get to, but at the same time, historically, the projection is going one way, right? So you've got to make sure that you kind of have something that you can pass down, and it's the easiest way to do that. So that's from my point of view. You've got to make sure you have that and just invest. That's
mad. So as soon as you can get on it, definitely get on the property ladder.
I don't see what will be stopping people from doing that. Obviously, there's a big hurdle that it takes a lot of money and saving, of course, and that's not easy. But once you're there and you have it, you shouldn't hesitate about pulling the trigger. Right?
Well, obviously, there's different ways to do it, innit? Like, I know a couple of people I know. Like, for example, when I was in college and stuff, like, they put their names on council flats and stuff like that, so that they can.
Smart guys, right? Smart guys. What can I say? Smart guys, right?
So that they can eventually buy at a cheaper price. A right to buy. So, like, I think when I was growing up, especially with my scenario, I think, you know, we did it without looking into it too much. I think it's probably more beneficial to speak to someone quite early, like a financial advisor or even just a mortgage broker, just to see how you could jump onto the property ladder, because sometimes it's not, although you did it the traditional way, sometimes there's so many different ways to jump on property. Like, it's not just okay, let's save and back up and go. Like, there's a lot of different loopholes, so to speak, to try and jump on.
And you'd be surprised, it's a lot easier than you think, as in regards to, like, there's different routes that, as you said, to get into, right? It's not just traditional put down a 25% deposit or 20% deposit and kind of pay out a mortgage. There's other ways into it, right? As you said, you can buy with a friend, you can buy with a family member, there's do it for a business, there's different ways of doing it, right? As you said, depending on your situation, and speaking to a financial advisor or mortgage advisor especially, because, you know, you're going to HSBC, you're going to NatWest or these banks in the high street, you're going to get a set lending rate. But, you know, if you speak to a mortgage broker, there's so many different rates and stuff out there that you guys can get involved in. So.
Another thing they could do is even like get their first property could be an investment property, like outside of London.
Exactly.
Everyone's thinking, you know, I need to get my first house to live in, but potentially you could get your first house outside of London that will be substantially cheaper than buying in London, and then that can, like, help you save towards your actual house that you do live in down the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another way of doing it.